Watch out! Give them everything we've got!
Star Wars has often prided itself on the distinction between good and bad, light side and dark side, do or do not. Battlefront 2, perhaps more befitting of the modern movies that highlight the grey areas in between, is neither all good or all bad. It comes in two distinct parts, the much demanded single player story and the historically excellent multiplayer. While both shine to different extents, they're equally far from perfect. Let's start by looking at the multiplayer, by far the strongest part of the package. In the previous Battlefront it was, mostly, Walker Assault or GTFO, but Battlefront 2 offers several modes you'll be playing extensively in the many months to come. The new Starfighter Assault mode is an absolute highlight, taking the objective-based attack and defend mantra from the old Walker Assault and applying it to epic space battles. While the Starfighter stuff in the original is passable, it has been finely tuned for Battlefront 2, and the maps you fly through are wonderful playgrounds for deadly experimentation. Galactic Assault is damn good too, and that's essentially the new Walker Assault mode, but without the walkers on some maps. Again, it's multi-objective, and there are all sorts of troops and vehicle classes to take for a blast around each of the well-designed maps. Actual shooting is accurate and easy to do, making the game accessible for players of all skill levels. Even the special characters and vehicle system works perfectly. You simply build up battle points and spend them on a hero or craft of your choice. The game even gives you 100 points for dying, so everyone will eventually climb into an ATST or roll up as Yoda. The remainder of the multiplayer modes are neat little novelties without the staying power of the big two. Hero Hunt just throws a couple of groups of heroes against each other for a big scrap, and Blast is your standard team deathmatch. Strike offers smaller scale objective-based shooting, but it's no more complicated than go here, capture that thing stuff. Arcade mode, which is technically multiplayer, lets you buddy up with friends locally and shoot up waves of troops, or occasionally swing a lightsaber at them. They're small snacks to keep you busy between the assault modes and perfectly entertaining with it.
Focus!
Star cards, however, have been greatly overhauled since Battlefront 1. There are loads more of them, and they've separated into two types: Boost, which make you better at stuff, and Ability, which give you new stuff. The sheer variety allows you to really customise your class, but unlocking them is a confusing mess. You can win star cards from the ever-popular random loot crate system, or you can buy them with crafting points, one of the game's 3 unique currencies. Star cards have 4 levels of variety, ranging from common to epic, and the more star cards you own, the more slots you'll unlock to equip them in battle. Then there's character XP, which allows you to upgrade cards and milestones that need to be completed, and so much to keep track of. The problem here is that while this convoluted system of getting new abilities and customising your character builds is indeed much deeper than the original game, it's also massively overcomplicated, and very poorly explained. It took me about 5 hours of regular play to figure out that grabbing 5 star cards for my assault trooper actually opened up the second equip slot. It's such a bizarre levelling up system, and one that gives you very little sense of actual progression. The problem is that everything in Star Wars Battlefront 2's multiplayer is tied to the opening of random crates, and while you can simply unlock the star cards you want with crafting points, they're not as easy to acquire as credits, which are used to grab those loot boxes. Oh, and if you want to pay real money for the crates, then you'll fork out for crystals, which is the game's 3rd type of currency. It's a real mess. So, what about that single player campaign? Clocking in at around 4 to 5 hours, it isn't the most entertaining or substantial of campaigns, and given the fact that you only spend around half that time playing as the anti-hero Iden Versio, it often feels like a collection of cameos rather than an actual story. The plot kinda follows Versio as she carries out missions for the Empire before and after Return of the Jedi, and it features all the lavish cutscenes and blatantly obvious twists you'd expect.
Is this part of the plan?
Grab onto something! Droid, the shield!
Come on, droid!
Hero characters look and sound somewhat akin to their silver screen counterparts, like the fans who come in 3rd place at Star Wars cosplay competitions. Versio herself is a dull character with very little to contribute to the canon, and her two comrades, Del and Hask, are forgettable stereotypes of a slightly different variety. Still, the shooting is fun, if a little repetitive. Missions are largely predictable affairs where you go somewhere, kill all the enemies, and then escape. The campaign does mix up dogfighting well with on-ground shooting, and there are a couple of standout missions right at the end that are exactly what the rest of the story should have been. Overall, though, it's a fairly unimaginative, short collection of winks and nods to fans that severely lacks an identity of its own. Play it to say you did, then get stuck into the multiplayer again. If you're not planning to play Battlefront 2 online, don't even bother picking this one up. While the campaign looks and feels like a Star Wars experience, it's an unfulfilling one, like a really good knockoff Han Solo action figure. You can play with it for a few hours, but you'll ultimately feel a little cheated. Multiplayer, on the other hand, is exceptionally polished and entertaining, and once you learn to accept the frustrating progression system, it'll keep you visiting the galaxy far, far away for months. So, in the end, we're going to give it 4 out of 5. Let us know what you think of Star Wars Battlefront 2 in the comments below, click the boxes on the left for more content from us, and don't forget to hit that big button in the middle to subscribe for more gaming news, reviews, previews, features, tips and guides right here on Games Radar Plus.